Welcome to Conversations with Davina, everyone. On today's episode, we're joined by Courtney McCarthy, Certified Fitness Instructor, confidence coach, and founder of Loyobo, an online fitness community helping women break free from diet culture and feel confident in their bodies. She's all about rewriting the rules of fitness and being your biggest cheerleader along the way. When she's not coaching, you'll find her walking her dog Archie or cuddling with her cat Munchkin. Welcome, Courtney, to the thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, I met Courtney a few weeks ago, and she is absolutely amazing. I know how amazing you are, but can you share a little bit with the audience about yourself so they can get to know you?
Sure. So I've been in fitness now for, over 10 years, which is a little bit wild to say. And I'm really passionate about helping women who are sick of trying to make themselves smaller. And I get really excited by seeing them not only feel at home in their bodies, but go out and live big lives and take up space in their lives, like applying for the promotion or running for office or just being able to wear their swimsuit to the beach. So it's what I love to do.
That's beautiful. And I love that about you. You just have such a kind heart and want to help others feel good just like you do. So thank you. Can you share what made you get into fitness?
Yeah, great question. It didn't happen intentionally. It was my second career. I was a bureaucrat working for the federal government, and I had my own tumultuous relationship with fitness and my body. And one day I happened to take a Zumba class with an instructor who changed my life forever. She provided this space that I'd never experienced before as an adult, where it was just a room full of women of all ages and backgrounds and sizes and shapes. And it was just so joyful. I remember I was brought to tears. It was just so impactful of how I realized that I'd never experienced that as an adult, especially in a fitness setting, that kind of connection and that community. And so with her guidance and support, she encouraged me to get my certification and get my license to teach. And it's been kind of snowballing ever since. My goal has been that I want to create that same kind of space and that same kind of community experience that I had with her. I want to give that to other women.
Wow, that's really impactful because not only are you changing and helping to build people up, but you are impacting their lives honestly forever, helping to change how they view themselves and really truly making a difference in their lives. With a caring voice for you, that's something that we gotta pride ourselves on, is really helping people just make a difference in their lives and realizing that they are important and that they're
Yeah.
special and they have so many different characteristics, and to really just dive in deep in who they are in their lives. Can you share just a little bit about why it's so important for you to do what you do
Mm.
on a regular basis?
When I took that class, as I said, I had my own tumultuous relationship with my body and with fitness. I'd spent decades trying to make myself smaller and pursue weight loss, and fitness was always something that was really difficult, and it was something that you had to do and that wasn't necessarily fun or enjoyable. I always kind of had this yo-yo relationship where I'd work out for a little while intensely and then I'd kind of fall off the wagon and not feel motivated. So in my experience and watching that shift within me and seeing how healing my relationship with fitness and finding joyful movement and ways that I could move my body that felt really good, that felt really connected, that built my confidence, that connected me to other women and made me feel part of something, made me feel like I belonged. It changed everything in my life. And having that confidence in my body meant that I was able to show up differently. I was able to I'm no longer ashamed of being in photos. I'm no longer self-conscious about what I eat. I'm no longer self-conscious and thinking about the way that my body looks. I'm able to wear what I want and show up the way that I want and really participate fully in my life. And that's really powerful for me. I think of, even watching my own mother spend a lot of her life kind of playing that when I game, like when I lose weight, I'll do this. When I have more money, I'll do this, and never really living the life that she truly wanted. It breaks my heart. And when I think of all the women that I know and how fantastic they all are, and how much the world is missing out on their voice, and how different the world could be if we all had women that were participating fully and showing up in themselves and feeling confident and using their voice. That's really, like, I love fitness and I love what I do. I find it so fun, but that's really the reason why I get up and I love to do what I do, because I get to see women being present in their life. And that to me is so impactful.
Wow. Yes. So you mentioned the when I. Yes. I
Yes.
think that's something that I know I can relate to. And I think so many individuals and audience can probably relate to. It's like, well, when I do X, Y, and Z, I will. And I agree with you. Live in the moment, enjoy life, no matter what it brings to you. I think it's something that we all can just learn from. And I know for myself and many other people, it's a learning experience, it's a learning moment to get to that point. And we all, sometimes we get to that point on some days, and sometimes it's rather tough, like you said, on other days.
Yeah.
What would you say to the individual who's watching and they know in their heart they want to get to that point? They strive to be the person that you're describing, but it's just tough and they feel stuck. Sometimes we all feel stuck. We feel stuck
Yeah.
in different ways, and it's hard to get past it. If you had any advice, what would you share to that person that feels stuck in this very moment?
First of all, so much empathy and so much understanding. And my heart goes out because, as you said, I feel like we've all been there. And that's where so many of my clients start. There's a couple things that are coming to mind, but the first is you're not alone. And so please, please, please seek out support, whether it's like, even I get so much motivation and so much encouragement by just following certain people on social media, especially people like myself that are like fitness creators in larger bodies that can show you that example of like what joyful movement can look like. But seeking out that community as well is that's why I have my online community, because there's so much power in being connected with people who are on the same journey as you, who are experiencing that same, stuckness, or who have gotten through the stuckness and can provide that encouragement and that kind of role model example for you. So that's number one, is doing whatever you can to get rid of that feeling of that you're alone by seeking out support, seeking out community, seeking out other people. The other one is, I'm a huge believer in starting small. And I think that in fitness, especially, there's such a pressure and kind of a misconception that you have to go really hard and that workouts aren't worth it unless they're, 60 minutes, unless you're sweaty, unless you're sore. We have all these kind of rules that we attach to what movement is supposed to look like. And there's actually so much power. And it's something that I tell all my clients is, start with 5 minutes, start with a 5-minute workout. And I know I've gotten the reaction many times of like, what can I possibly achieve in 5 minutes? But trust me, when you experience a 5-minute workout, you're like, okay, that was like more challenging or more impactful than I thought it would be. And you can really feel the difference. And I feel like as soon as you take a lot of that pressure off, as soon as you remove a lot of those rules and just focus on what works for you right now, focus on that next kind of one small step that you can take and feel successful at, that track record of success and track record of being able to achieve something is so powerful and so motivational in your journey. So those would be the first two I would suggest, is find your community, find your people, and start small.
Okay, that's great. Those are great tips and pieces of advice, you all. So definitely take in what Courtney is sharing to start small, and find the people that is going to uplift you and give you that support that you need to keep going. So I know many moms out there who have gone through just a tough time. They go from one way to another way within their bodies, and the shift can be tough. Not only that, but often, just like you were saying, be surrounded by people who are uplifting you. But sometimes people are surrounded by people who are very negative.
Mm.
And then they have to balance life in itself. For the people who are just trying to balance it all, and just trying to figure out life, a mom with several children, or individuals who are in relationships that are negative. What would you suggest would be a way to kind of just move forward, move past that? And I know you talked about communities, and that's excellent. And I totally agree with you. But is there anything that you do or you would suggest for that individual to help them kind of move forward within themselves? Because sometimes you have community and it's great. But when you turn it off, or when you are home alone, or sometimes when you have those moments where you're by yourself, it can get really tough. It can
Mm-hmm.
get, like you said, lonely. It can be overwhelming. It can have so many different emotions that you're going through. And sometimes it can just feel downright hard. So,
Yeah.
do you have any specific things that people can do, or words of encouragement that you always turn to or you suggest to your clients that may help individuals who, you know what, they feel like, this is just overwhelming for me right now.
And apologies if you can hear, that's Archie in the background. My dog, if you can hear a little bit of barking.
We love Archie.
He wants to be part of the podcast too. There are so many affirmations that come to mind. Something that I talk a lot about my clients, two things is number one, giving ourselves grace of recognizing that you're not going to have it together all the time and that things aren't going to be easy all of the time. Like even someone like myself who, I work out for a living, I teach confidence for a living. It doesn't mean that I don't still have days where I feel like sitting on the couch rather than getting up and working out, or that I look in the mirror and I don't feel the way that I want to feel in that moment in my body. And the other mantra that goes hand in hand with that. So like number one, accepting that you're a human, giving yourself grace, knowing that it's not going to feel perfect all the time. And then another mantra that I love to use is we can do hard things. So that kind of acceptance of it might feel hard, you might feel overwhelmed, you might feel stuck, and you can still make that, even that little tiniest baby step forward. You can still do something that takes care of yourself or that moves you towards your goals or that, takes care of your body. So both can be true. It can be really hard. And, most of the women listening, especially if they're, single moms or they're taking care of kids, probably have a track record of overcoming a lot of different, whether it's hardships or tough periods or challenges that they can look to and say, I've gotten through that before, I can get through this again. But to help with those mantras, I always suggest breath work and journaling as well. Those are tools that can make a really big difference of getting you out of your head, getting you out of that kind of negative spiral or the negative self-talk, helping come back to your breath, connect with your body, feel grounded, and then also using journaling to work through some of the tools that I really use a lot with my clients as well.
That's great. I love that. Yes, those are so many positive things that you just shared, and I truly believe all of them are great to utilize. You're known as like the hype girl. Oh, tell me, how do you get motivated and stay motivated? Like you have it. So what are some tips that you can share on staying motivated and just staying hyped?
Yeah, I feel like part of it has always just been my personality. Like even as a kid, I was always referred to as like the Energizer Bunny. So part of it is just like I just feel full of joy and I really like to see the moments of joy in life. But the thing that motivates me the most is I try as much as possible to connect to my why. So kind of like what you asked me earlier of like, why do I do what I do? Why do I get excited? What motivates me to do this kind of work? But also on like a smaller level, I often think of why I have the goals that I have or why I want to do certain things. So for example, like let's go back to the like wanting to sit on the couch and not do the workout in that moment or feeling lazy or feeling tired. I always think of how I want to feel afterwards and connecting with the things of how I know my body works. So I'm a full believer that motivation is not a feeling, it's often an action. I push myself to take action. So if I'm sitting on the couch, I say, okay, I recognize that the hardest step is getting up off this couch. As if I can take that first step, I know that everything else after that will feel easier. And I know that it's connected to, I'm going to feel better and I'm going to feel the way that I want to feel if I move my body, if I show up, if I do the hard thing. So that's often the little like self-talk motivational piece that I have is recognizing that you just got to show up. That's the hardest part. And yet it's also the easiest step to take. It's like I can get up off the couch, I can go into the room, I can get ready for my workout. And then everything after that starts to feel so much easier once you get going, once you get moving.
Absolutely. It just takes that beginning part to kind of push you to where, where you need to go or where you should go. All right. So, since we can hear Archie, outside of fitness, how do your pets add joy to your life? I know you have Archie, I know you have Munchkin, and I truly believe that animals can bring so much joy and happiness in someone's life. I'm an animal lover myself. Tell me about Archie and Munchkin, how, having them in your life have pretty much impacted who you are as an individual.
Yeah, and there must be something outside that he's talking to. So Archie is he's 2 years old. He's a border collie Jack Russell mix. So if you think that I'm a hype girl and I have energy, oh my goodness, he puts me to shame every day. He has so much energy and he's so smart and he's so just wanting to be a part of everything I do. So he is really great he bosses me around. He gets me outside every morning. As we talked about, like if I'm like kind of acting slow or like not wanting to get out for a walk, he'll like come up to me and be like, "Let's go, mom. It's time to go outside." So I love that he gets me outside, and he's the definition of also like stopping to smell the flowers and like just again having those small moments of joy. He literally does when we go for walks. He'll stop and smell the flowers. So I love that about him as well. And I think Munchkin, my little baby girl, she has taught me. She is, like they say, pets can be like when you get a pet that's kind of like you, and that mirrors the human in a lot of ways. So she's like me in that she's like a little bit of an emotional drama queen. So she's really taught me like patience and understanding, and how you can have that unconditional love of there can be so many good things about, in this case, a cat, but also about a person, even if they're like a little bit of like high maintenance, we'll say.
I love that. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that you have them. Anyone who you feel like may be on the fence, there are some people that they may want to, but they may be a little intimidated or scared, or sometimes we're afraid of the unknown. I know sometimes I battle with that. The unknown is so intimidating. It can be scary. So anyone who may be on the fence of maybe even, moving forward or even considering reaching out to you for support, what words of encouragement would you give to them?
I always want to give people like that a big hug. I just want to give them a big hug. And recognizing that there's so much power in taking that first step and reaching out and asking for help in making that initial connection. And hopefully, whether it's myself or reaching out to someone like you for support, I think knowing that the person on the other end is reminding yourself that like they're not going to be judgmental. They're there because they want to be there. I'll often get responses like they're afraid of being a burden, or they don't know if they don't want to annoy you by asking for support. And it's like, no, annoy me. I want it. That's what I'm here for. So I think that is recognizing that, just like I was saying, that taking that step is such a powerful one, and such something that you can really be proud of for yourself, and really knowing that the person on the other end is wanting to hear from you every step of the way, and it's a really safe, non-judgmental space for sure.
That's wonderful. So if anyone in the audience would like to get in contact with you, how would they reach you?
I hang out the most on Instagram. So that's you can follow me at Loyobo Fit, which is LOYOBOFIT, which stands for Love Your Body Fitness. And I love, especially as you said, taking that first step can be so hard. So I love to offer anyone who's new to the community or new to me a free confidence call. And that's where it's just a 30-minute call that we can talk about where you're at in your journey, identify some of the top things that are acting as barriers or that are keeping you stuck, and then developing a pathway forward with real, actionable, tangible tips that kind of like what we've talked about, but individualized to their situation and their life. that they can take forward with them. And so reach out to me on Instagram, send me the word apply, or let me know that you heard me on A Caring Voice for You with Davina, and I'll hook you up with that link to book a free call.
Wonderful. How exciting. I love the fact that you're sharing that a free 30-minute call just to touch base and to get to know them and
Yeah.
give them support. So thank you for that. And everyone, thank you so much for listening and for being a part of our audience. And if you would like to learn more about A Caring Voice for You, please feel free to reach out to us at caringvoiceforyou.com for support. And until next time, everyone, take care.